Hello, welcome to my first video on Mega Man Maker. I know, kind of random switching games again. I plan to make a couple of these, though there's a chance, like with all of my videos, that might just not happen. I don't know. But before we start, I'd like to apologize if this video is a bit quieter than usual. I think it is. I'm not entirely certain. But this is because I needed to have my microphone sensitivity lower for non-YouTube reasons, which means that this video, and most likely every video from now on that has my voice in it, will be a bit quieter, because it will be. Hopefully, it isn't much of an issue. But I believe that it shouldn't cause any problem for you, the viewer, because you can just turn your volume up. And since I don't make any money from YouTube, I don't have any ads on my videos, so if you turn your volume up, you won't be startled by any loud ads, because I don't have ads on my videos. And if you've already gotten an ad before this video, which I don't think you should, but I think sometimes that might happen, I don't think it does for me, because I don't make money off of this, then you've already heard that before this happens. So I apologize if this happens with all my videos with my voice in it from now on, but you can just turn your volume up. I never planned to make any money off of this either, so yeah. So yeah, there you go. That was I was hoping to say that a little bit quicker, so I can just get started with this. But basically, I might do a couple videos with Mega Man Maker stuff, and I have some ideas, but for now, there's a thing that I made in Mega Man Maker that I'm going to show you, and it's a thing that I haven't found very much. So, normally when I go play and I go online, I play a lot of levels, there's plenty of boss rush levels for, like the boss rushes at the end of all the Mega Man games. And some games, there's a lot of, like Mega Man 2, there's a lot of those. But specifically Mega Man 7, there isn't that many for. So I decided I would make a boss rush for Mega Man 7 with all the teleporters in the same locations that they are in Wily Stage 4 in Mega Man 7. The reason why I did it on Mega Man 7 specifically is, first of all, because I didn't find many, and second of all, because Mega Man 7 is actually my favorite Mega Man game, and I probably played it more than any other one. I'm sure some of you may have mixed feelings about that game, but that one is my favorite. I'm not sure why, but I know probably more about it than I know any other one. So I'm going to show you it that I made, the boss rush for all 8 Robot Masters in Mega Man 7. So yeah, let me get into it. Alright, here we go. Let's load in. Mega Man 7 Boss Rush. I very originally titled it. Alright, here it is. This music is the actual Wily Stage 4 music from the game. You can see I don't have any other weapons, because even though normally, even though this is designed to be like the boss rush at the end of the game, where you would already have all the weapons, I like giving it a twist where you get each boss's weapon from defeating them like you normally would throughout the game, but designed after the boss rush at the end. So this pretty much is the same as the boss rush at the end, and yeah, it's the same as the boss rush at the end of the game, except for the fact that you actually don't have any weapons yet, and you collect each Robot Master's weapon after beating them. So it's pretty much kind of like playing the regular 8 in the main mode, but without the stages. So kind of just cutting the boss. So yeah, I like doing that. Boss rushes, but you don't have all the weapons, and you have to get each one. So I have these symbols to represent each one. Some of them aren't the same as their actual weapon. These two are, but for example, this one isn't. This is for Turbo Man. That's not his weapon. I just put that there because the actual weapon I use for him, because they don't have his weapon in Mega Man Maker. so I had to use a different weapon for a different weapon to use as his weapon. However, its like weapon icon didn't look like it would fit Turbo Man, so I used this one instead. Because these are weapon blocks. So that I just made it easier to tell which ones they are. So I think it's that one as well as this one up here, because this one is Junkman's, but they don't have the junk shield in here, so I used the water shield instead. But obviously the water shield icon, because these are weapon blocks, you can only like set these to weapons that are in the level, but you can only have 11 weapons per level, excluding the Mega Buster. So I would have to use their own weapon, but since that looks nothing like Junkman because it's a water shield, because they don't have the junk shield in the game in Mega Man Maker, I had to add another weapon to the level and add it hidden off screen in a place where you can't get it, so you never have access to this weapon, but just because it designs his logo. So that's the same thing with this for Turbo Man, even though his actual weapon I use Atomic Fire for. Closest thing you can get to his weapon, which is Scorch Wheel, but the icon doesn't look like it. Plus, these aren't supposed to resemble their weapons, they're just supposed to identify the characters. Like, the ones with their own weapons, you can identify which character it is from the weapon, but there's other stuff, like, with all the ones that their actual weapons aren't in the game, like, that one, and this one, whose regular weapons are not actually in the game. And I had to use a substitute weapon that's closer, then that icon, you can't really use that to identify because that's not their own weapon. So I just had to use different weapon symbols that aren't actually involved. So that symbol down there and this one are just never used. You actually never use those weapons. I just thought this looks more like Slash Man than the Flame Sword logo, which the Flame Sword is what I used for Slash Man's weapon. So here we go. So you can do these in any order. Each one, when you kill it, drops a key, and over here, that's the thing that ends the level. So once you get all keys, you come over here. So you just have to kill all of them, then you beat the level. And of course, they also drop their weapon, and they're all weak to different one's weapon, just like the same way it is in the actual one. So I'm gonna start, even though technically the first Robot Master is Burst Man, I'm gonna start with Shade Man, because since I have to start with one of them, Shade Man's weakness is the Wild Coil, but I find it really hard to hit him with the Wild Coil, so I figured start with him, because he seems like the hardest one to hit using his own weakness. So I'm not going to bother using his own weakness, so I might as well fight him first when I don't have any weapons yet, and then I'll get his weapon, and then I can go to Turbo Man, who's weak to his weapon. So let me get a charge shot in, and here's Shade Man, just like in Mega Man 7. So now, while I'm fighting him, I'll say that only 3 of the Mega Man 7 bosses are actually in Mega Man Maker. So this one, let's see, it was this one, Freeze Man and Spring Man. Those ones are actually in Mega Man Maker. However, the other 5 are not in Mega Man Maker, so I had to use substitutes. So just letting you know that most of them aren't the actual bosses because they're not in Mega Man Maker. But this is the actual Shade Man, who works the same as he does and is supposed to in Mega Man 7. So yeah, I'm just fighting him here, killing him first, because obviously since you don't have any weaknesses yet, you have to kill one of them with the Mega Buster first. And then see, I just got a key. If you look in the top right corner, I have 1 key. And now here's the weapon. Pretty cool, bouncing off walls. When you pick it up, gets stronger. You can, yeah. So like I said, I just did this guy first because you have to fight one person without their weakness because you don't start with any weapons other than your base weapon. And I figured I'd start with him because I find it really hard to hit him with his weakness. So now he's cleared, and I have the weapon. It's pretty cool. So now I'm gonna fight Turbo Man, because Turbo Man is weak to that. And yes, these guys all do have the same weaknesses that they do in the real game. So, yeah, let me do Turbo Man here. Let me bounce up and get a charge shot first. Here we go. So, they don't have Turbo Man in this game. Like I said, they only have Freeze Man and, Freeze Man, Spring Man, and Shade Man. So I had to find an alternative, and of course they don't have every other boss either. So I don't remember who, but I was thinking there was one Robot Master that's a good substitute, but they don't have him in this game either. So I used Top Man, because he has the similar thing. He attacks and then he moves the other side of the screen, and he's invincible when he's moving. Pretty similar to Turbo Man when he turns into the car. Oh, I actually died there. Okay then. Didn't think that would happen. He was almost dead. I guess I'll just redo him real quick. Alright, I've just defeated him. Okay, so I just defeated him. I got the second key, and now his weapon is the Scorch Wheel, which is not in Mega Man Maker, but the closest weapon there is the Atomic Fire. Oh, by the way, I don't think I mentioned it, but this weapon that I got from Shade Man, this is his actual weapon that you obtain for beating him in Mega Man 7, which is in the game. But the Turbo Man's weapon is not. Shade Man's is, Turbo is not, so I used this one. Alright. So next we're gonna go to Burst Man, because Burst Man is weak to Scorch Wheel. Yeah, here he is. There's his symbol. Let me charge this up and go in here. So, Burst Man isn't in Mega Man Maker either, but the closest thing I could find is Pump Man. So, yeah, there's Pump Man. Atomic Fire is really powerful. There we go. Let me grab that third key, and now I got the Danger Ramp. This is Burst Man's actual weapon that is in Mega Man Maker. Remember, since Mega Man Maker is not an official thing, it does have all the actual weapons, but not all of them. Most of them. I guess, so this is an actual weapon. So, the Danger Wrap. And so next we'd have Cloud Man, symbolized by the lightning right here. Who's weak to the Danger Wrap. Okay, so, So Cloud Man isn't in Mega Man Maker, and there aren't really many bosses at all that fit him. There aren't really any bosses that work similarly, so it was going to be pretty different from him no matter what. But I just went with Sheep Man entirely because he turns into clouds and he uses lightning, and Cloud Man is a cloud and also uses lightning. So I just assumed, or not assumed, sorry. I just figured I'd use this since no one is really any similar to Cloud Man. So I was just thinking, just really pick anyone who is cloud themed and lightning themed. Which happens to be Sheep Man. You can see when he's turning into clouds, I'm firing up to hit these. And sometimes whichever cloud is last, I place down the mine, because Danger Wrath you can fire up or you can place down a mine. And I just got his weapon, which Cloud Man's weapon isn't in the game either, but the closest is the Spark Shot. Thunderbolt is pretty much just this weapon, Spark Shot, but much better. So I just made it stronger, but it's still the same thing. Thunderbolt, it's almost the same thing. The only difference is that Thunderbolt, when it hits an enemy, it breaks off into 2 more pieces. This doesn't. Okay, so next we'd go to Junkman over here. Junkman is weak to the electric weapon, the Thunderbolt, symbolized by the Spark Shot. Junkman isn't in Mega Man Maker either, but I did find Stone Man, and Stone Man is very similar. Not quite the exact same, but he is very similar. So there's definitely I'm glad that there are some of them like this that are almost the exact same as the original, but not quite. And now I got the junk shield that you get from him. The junk shield is not in the game. In Mega Man Maker, I mean. The junk shield from Mega Man 7 is not in Mega Man Maker, so I use the water shield instead. It's pretty much the same thing. When you use it, it fires out like that. It's pretty much the same thing. So, next would be Freeze Man, who is weak to the junk shield. So here's Freeze Man up here, who obviously in this one is weak to my replacement junk shield. Oh wow, that was fun. Here he is. Let me get this ready. And just start hitting him with it. Yeah, when he's on the ground, I can just hit him directly with this, but when he goes in the air, I can press. Like when he's in the air, I can do that. Okay, so I got the ice weapon, the freeze cracker weapon. This is, by the way, this is the actual weapon from Mega Man 7. So, there, it's pretty cool. Okay. And that was also actually Freeze Man. Like I said, Freeze Man, Spring Man, and Shade Man are the three that are actually from the game. So, now that I have the ice weapon, go to Slash Man over here, who is weak to it. Come on, fill up the energy there. So, this Slash Man is not in Mega Man Maker. However, Pluto is, and Pluto is very similar. And pretty much the only difference is that Slash Man and Pluto, they both climb on the walls like that. The only difference is that Slash Man does not shoot projectiles like these, because he instead has like Wolverine claws. And also, when he goes on the walls, he doesn't throw stuff at you, but instead he drops like goop from the ceiling that can slow you down. So anyways, Pluto is very similar, so I'm glad he's in there. I'm glad he's in Mega Man Maker. So the Slash Claw isn't in here either, but the closest is this Flame Sword. So I substituted it for the Flame Sword. So now we have Spring Man. This is going to be our final one, is Spring Man, because Spring Man is weak to the Slash Claw I just got, and then the weapon we get from Spring Man is good against Shade Man, who we did at the beginning. So this is our last one, and this is no more substitutes have to be made, because this Spring Man is, like I keep repeating a ton of times, is one of the 3 out of the 8 from Mega Man 7 that are actually in Mega Man Maker. So I didn't have to substitute him, this is the real guy. Didn't have to substitute his weapon either, which you'll see in a minute once I beat him. It's these little things he's bouncing on the ground. That's the weapon you get from him. There we go, there's my 8th key, and here it is. The Wild Coil. This is exactly the same weapon from the game, and yeah, the reason why I did the order that I did. So, since this is the last one I have to do, obviously it loops around, so Shade Man, the first one, is weak to this. But I did Shade Man first, even though I could do them in any order, entirely because I find it really hard to hit him with this, and I obviously only want to attack everyone with their weakness, and since no weapons from the start, you have to kill whoever would be the easiest, which, in my opinion, would probably be Pluto. Would be the easiest without any weapons, but like I said, I did Shade Man because I find it hard to hit him with Wild Coil. But there's your Wild Coil, and now you can see in the top corner I have 8 keys, because each of them drop their key. In case you're curious, if you go back into one of the areas, there's nothing there, so you can just leave. And I have all 8, so that opens up this, and here is the level end thing, and yeah, there you go. So, there it is. There was it. The reason why I spent a while talking about, like, how it works and stuff more than just the actual bosses is because I kind of just wanted to explain it a little bit as well because I made it. So, yeah, there you go. And I will see you in the next video. Or actually, I might not, because the next video might be another MSM Composer sound, in which I obviously am not there. I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean. Goodbye.